Okay, we'll call the meeting to order because it's 12:32, so it's time. So I'll ask Sheriff McAndrew if you'd lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
Glad to see the commissioners made it down from Roaring Brook.
It was a lovely ride.
Unscathed. Well, 2 out of 3 made it down. I don't know what.
Nice country.
It's good stuff. So I trust everybody got Tracy's always timely dissemination of the minutes from last month's meeting. So assuming that you've had an opportunity to review them, I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from July.
So moved. Second.
On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Anybody from the public wish to address the board on agenda items only? I see no hands, so we'll move on to the agenda. I wish to note, Warden Betty won't be attending today, but in his stead, our Deputy Warden Purvis and Deputy Warden Colleen, our newest official Deputy Warden Colleen Orzel. So we'll head to a motion to approve all current payables for the Community Corrections Center and the prison. Again, I trust everybody's had an opportunity to review those, and if so, I'll entertain a motion for their approval.
So moved.
You got a second?
I'll second.
On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, the payables are approved. Okay, Controller DeBillio, can you favor us with your report, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Ooh, that's loud.
That's not you.
The Controller's Office reviewed the prison inmate and canteen account reconciliations for July 2021, which were prepared by the Prison Business Office, and found no discrepancies between the reconciliations and the bank statements. The balance in the inmate account was $688,815.66 as of July 31st, 2021. The balance in the canteen checking account was $663,494.25 as of July 31st. And in addition, as of July 31st, the canteen account owned 2 certificates of deposit, one valued at $15,000 even, and the other at $132,294.38, which totals $147,294.38. And that concludes my report for July of 21.
Any questions for the Controller? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Controller's report.
Motion.
Second? Question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. DeBillio. So we'll move to the Community Corrections Center report. Mr. Jeffers, you're still wearing 2 hats.
Kinda. Norm's shy.
Pardon?
Norm is shy. The Community Corrections Program report for July 2021 is, item known, our adult house arrest had 153 participants and juvenile house arrest had 11 participants. Revenue, item number 2, our program's revenues for the month totaled $58,104.01. Item 3, our program's expenses totaled $75,709.43. Item 4, the program's completions had 33. Item 5, the program's violations had 11. Item 6, our program warrants are still 5 for work release, 4 for house arrest. And item 7, the budget report for the year so far, overtime is at 2%, expenses are at 43%, and revenue is at 72%. That concludes the report, Your Honor.
Any questions for Mr. Jeffers? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve his report.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you,
Any-
Board.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jeffers. So now we'll go to the Warden's Report.
Good afternoon, Board.
Good afternoon.
The in-house population for the Lackawanna County Prison for the month of July was 651 inmates. 474 were county inmates. The prison averaged 558 adult males, 6 juvenile males, and 87 adult females. The average population of United States Marshals Service inmates for July was 177. Overtime, out-of-county boarding, and the community service reports are attached. The staffing update are currently, the numbers break down to 169 full-time uniformed staff on shift, 2 out on workers' comp, and 2 are on continuous FMLA, while 62 are on intermittent FMLA. We have 3 staff on administrative leave and 4 full-time vacancies, with a total of 180 full-time officers. The budget as of July 31st, 2021, the revenue was at 49% and expenses were at 60%. Our extraordinary occurrence reports, there were 3 extraordinary occurrences in the month of July. First, on July 2nd, 2021, a county inmate refused to move into a cell and requested to be taken to the restrictive housing unit. While attempting to move this inmate, he began to resist efforts to take him to restrictive housing. His behavior then escalated into physical resistance. He pushed an officer and then began spitting and kicking at officers, including the fact that he struck one officer in the face. Responding staff used OC spray to gain his compliance, and eventually, staff were able to place him in the ERC and transported him to restrictive housing unit. The second instance, on July 16th, a USMS detainee began acting out in an aggressive manner. He had grabbed an officer's arm and attempted to get his keys off of him. A cell extraction was ordered so that his cell could be searched for contraband. During the cell extraction, staff found it necessary to use pepper ball launcher, the eBid shield, and a handheld eBid device to gain the detainee's compliance. Eventually, the detainee was removed from the cell and placed in the ERC while his cell was searched for contraband. On July 22nd, a county inmate began yelling, kicking his cell door, and was non-compliant with staff orders. His behavior continued to escalate, and a decision was made to place him in the ERC for his safety and the safety of staff. PREA, there were 4 PREA investigations completed in the month of July. 2 were allegations of staff on inmate sexual misconduct, and 2 were allegations of inmate on inmate sexual misconduct. All 4 investigations have been deemed unfounded, and reports have been forwarded to the DA's office for review. And this concludes the Warden's report.
Any questions for the Deputy Warden?
Yes. Deputy, mandatory double shifts for officers, correctional officers, how big of a problem is that?
I think currently it's a considerable problem due to several different factors. We have a lot of retirements, and medically, there has been a lot of hospital runs that is causing a lot of overtime. And not so much now, but within the past year, COVID has been a problem. So mandatory double shifts have been quite an
Yeah.
issue.
How often does it occur, say, on a monthly basis?
A monthly? I don't know for sure, but I would say there's definitely a couple a week. So that would, I would say, amount to several a month.
Yeah. And of course, I'm referring to the fact that a 7 to 3 shift would work 7 a.m. till 11 p.m.,
Correct.
have 8 hours off, have to be back at 7 a.m. And if that's occurring like once a week, that's quite a bit.
It is.
That can bog down your week.
Right.
And it seems like that's at least occurring once a week, right?
Agreed, yes. So we have been talking, the warden and the other deputy wardens and I have been talking about ways to try to recruit. Right now, there's a cadet class in training, and we're assuming that not long after, there may be another cadet training. So we are actively looking for new hires.
Yeah, that would be great to help with that situation.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're working on it.
And I think the warden told me yesterday that it just in the most recent class, you had a couple of people who completed the class and decided that they didn't want the jobs.
Right, right.
Coming
had
from
two.
another correctional institution and decided to stay where they were.
Right.
So,
Unfortunately, 2 of the cadets have not successfully completed and left. So we only have a couple in the class currently.
yeah.
So we have been trying to be creative and think of ways that we could put out to the public or, gain interest in county prison employment for full-time COs.
Are these 4 vacancies filled?
I don't believe, I think we have a number of vacancies currently. We have 12 vacancies currently. And again, that's due to retirements. There have been a couple other resignations and terminations, but we do have a few retirements going on too.
I think out of those 12, though, I think you have 4 that are ready to go in after
Right.
they finish the orientation and the training. But that class was composed of 6, and 2 out of the 6, reneged.
Right,
So that leaves us with 4. So essentially, we have 8
correct.
vacancies right now.
So you're accepting applications?
Absolutely.
At the
It's
prison,
posted,
or
it is HR, county HR. Right now it's listed on the website, the Lackawanna County website for full-time COs. The job description's listed, and I believe it says to submit applications to the HR department.
Are you interested, Gare?
Maybe.
Okay.
Part-time.
I think you could handle the training.
Part-time.
Okay. Anything else? How about can you update us on the negotiations with the Marshal Service?
The warden and I just had a phone meeting yesterday, just to go over I believe it's the proposed contract, so we're just kind of finalizing that.
Okay.
I'm working with them to gain access to the website that we need to, I guess access, I'm not sure what for yet, but I believe we're at the end of that stage to where the Summerhill group will submit it to the marshals.
Okay.
Just a couple changes.
Summerhill Group is trying to increase our reimbursement rate from the Marshal Service and as you can see, we have close to 200 of their
Yes,
inmates.
yes,
So that has an impact on
yeah.
the
Every day
balance
there's
sheet.
about 185 to 190 marshals inmates.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain is there another component of the report?
I saw there was OT comparisons. Overtime comparisons?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure exactly what the board's looking for, but the warden provided a comparison chart.
Okay.
So again, it just reiterates the increase in overtime for the year due to the factors that we discussed.
Okay. Any questions based on that? All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the report.
I'll make that motion.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody from the public wish to address the board? Come on up.
My name is Reverend Doug Posgate. Commissioners and prison board and deputy wardens, I want to express my appreciation for your listening to me for a time last meeting. I shared my concern for the need for chaplaincy services at the facility, and I'd respectfully request about 3 minutes, if I may.
Sure.
Having sensed some recognition of the chaplaincy need by the warden, with some of his words, and others present that day for the hiring of an on-site chaplain, once more, because it's been about 10 years, it appeared that if financially feasible and sustainable, the undergirding of its ongoing costs might well be possible. So the benefits of a chaplain services to the administration, to the inmates, to the COs, and to staff may be obvious to some folks, but nonetheless, allow me just to elaborate on the duties, responsibilities of a chaplain, because I don't think their value can be overstated. A chaplain conducts worship services consistently, may offer Bible studies, counseling, pre-release classes, mentoring, cell block visitation, death notifications, and others might lead discipleship classes, offer stress management, insights, and walk affected persons through grief counseling. They're often tasked with coordinating the outside volunteer groups as they request to have scheduled times of meeting. And so I'm encouraged, along with some other persons of like mind, to pursue further action as to how and when nuts and bolts might be ironed out so that rubber could hit the road with a chaplaincy at the facility. Indeed, each of us in our own way, as holidays approach, think about our issues of faith and how we celebrate those holidays, as do residents on the inside. Please know today that I'd be remiss if I didn't reference one source. Though services may vary by facility, 63 of the 66 counties in the state of Pennsylvania do not lack for the services of a chaplain. When balanced and compared, the costs of going without these services can be considerable if it's ignored. And in part, what's at risk is the unintended enabling of even higher numbers of necessary punitive measures taken when effectively dealing with out-of-control inmates. So please do ask, if you would, how might the intensity and frequency of those events be mitigated through the intervention and the wisdom of a professionally trained chaplain before they occur? Can a more peaceful facility be attainable? I do thank you so much for once again hearing me out. Count yourselves made especially aware of the responsibility that I and others feel that it is critical to be caring for the spiritual needs of the incarcerated. Yes, those are persons who likely one day will be very much among us in our daily walks. So bless you each one. I ask that of God, and especially for concrete efforts to further care for those deeply consequential actions and needed decisions ahead. Good day to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else? Bev?
Bev DeBarros, Scranton.
Can't hear you.
Bev DeBarros, Scranton. So we've been looking into the chaplain thing, and that's what I want to talk about. One of the duties that chaplains have is to coordinate the programs. And I'll give you an example of in the past how that did not work right, and that would be just so much better. My Bible class was Thursday afternoons, and then oftentimes, other programs were scheduled for the same time for the same women. So they had to make a choice, come to the Bible study or go to work on their certificate of, say, parenting class. Both, they wanted to be in both places, but they couldn't be. And the certificates that they earn, for these other classes are good toward their sentencing. But the Bible classes too, because the sentencing judges often ask us how, the person has been in the Bible study. So that would be a huge improvement if we could just coordinate those things. Also, I spoke with Reverend Heather Winters. She's the full-time chaplain at Luzerne County. And it was interesting. One difference we noted, Lackawanna doesn't have a chaplain, but we have a beautiful chapel, and Luzerne County has a full-time chaplain, but no chapel. I said, well, where do you do your stuff, you know? And she said, in the GED room, they conduct their Bible studies and so forth. So that's about all I have for today, but we really are continuing to look into how these other 63 counties manage and use chaplaincy. I'm looking forward to a chaplain at Lackawanna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bev.
Alicia Marshall, I'm a resident of Dunmore. I wanted to address the board and ask if we could make any provisions for the inmates, since COVID is continuing and there could be further restrictions due to the Delta variant. I know prisons in other places in Pennsylvania have given inmates extra access to tablets at no charge to them to communicate with their family and friends, since it's so hard to not have the opportunity to visit with people, due to COVID restrictions. And it is a burden on families to pay for extra time on the iPads. So I was wondering if we could use some of the money in the commission account to pay for those services so the inmates would have additional time to do that without, like I said, the burden of having to have their families pay for that.
How much additional time would you be interested in?
I guess it would vary case by case, but if each inmate had an additional hour a week to use to communicate, I think that would be really helpful. And I think it would cut down on, I think a lot of times the violence and aggression comes from, other issues, and maybe they wouldn't be feeling as stressed and as lonely if they had the opportunity to communicate with their families on a more regular basis. And like I said, if they didn't have the financial burden associated with that, I think that would be really beneficial.
Would you want to just propose it just for communication purposes with family?
Yes.
Okay.
And like I said, it wouldn't really be a huge expense. They have the money in the account that basically they paid for with their commissions. And like I said, I think it would provide them comfort. I think that the pandemic has been hard on all of us, and it's hard to not have the ability to talk to your family and your friends, and especially when you're in a situation of distress, to not have a means to do that, I think is concerning. So I would hope that we could consider this,
All
for
right.
them.
Well, yeah, we'll definitely consider it. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I ask one of the deputy wardens, are we back open for visitation or no? Full visitation?
Anybody else from the public? Okay, any other business from any of the members of the prison board? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. I didn't think you didn't want to adjourn. Second, on the question, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.